he kept the original, the best vineyard of Enniskillen, which was very near his home. His home, if you go to visit Enniskillen, Niagara, has anyone ever been to Niagara?
Yeah.
If you go to the Enniskillen vineyard, there's a row of trees, and on the other side of this row of trees is where Donald lives. He kept the house, and he kept this one vineyard, which is about a half a kilometer from his home. And it was the best vineyard, he thought, of the parcel. He sold everything else, made buckets and buckets and buckets of money, and he took life very easy. And now he makes ice wine, not because he needs to make money, he does it because he's passionate about making the wine. So he was the godfather of Canadian ice wine. And this label is his own personal label. And he actually does a lot of the work. Not all of the work in the vineyard, but he's very, very hands-on with his product. So this is why I'm much more interested in representing an ice wine from Donald than, say, some of the other larger companies or the corporate companies. So I have a lot of passion for this wine because, number one, Donald is a friend. Two, I'm Canadian, and this is the one wine that Canada does amazingly well. Because it actually doesn't make great, great wine, but it makes great, great ice wine. Because we have lots and lots of ice. There's definitely no shortage of ice. And how ice wine is made is when the grapes have ripened, you actually leave them on the vine. And you don't leave them for a few days after they're ripened, or a few weeks after they're ripened. You leave them for a few months until winter comes and the grapes freeze. And in the grape, we have 80% water, and then 20% sugars and things that make grapes taste like grapes. And what they need to happen, they need to have consistently -6 to -10 Celsius for 4 to 5 days consecutively. And what this does is the water is the first thing to freeze. Water freezes at 0 degrees. The juice in the grape freezes at 12 degrees. Everything freezes at 12 degrees, -12. So you want it to be in this sort of -8 degree perfection. Water has been encapsulated in ice. All you're left is the juice, rich, concentrated nectar with sugar. So they take these frozen grapes and they actually pick them at night while it's still at that -8 degrees, because during the day it warms up. So they pick at night and they press outside where it's still cold. And they press in a basket press, which is a very large basket, basically made of wood slats. And there's small holes on the side. And then they put a plunger which presses down. And they start with this much grapes. And when they're done pressing, the grapes are all the way to the floor. When they're done pressing, this is left over. They only press this much up because 80% is water and it's frozen in the ice. So when you take one big bucket of grapes, you're getting 1/5 the amount of wine that you would if you were pressing regular grapes. So that's why these wines are very expensive, because you could be making 5 bottles of wine, but instead you're only making 1 bottle. But what you're getting is this extremely concentrated nectar of the grapes. And once they have this juice, then they add the yeast, and then your fermentation starts. But because the juice is so concentrated with all of the sugar, it's very, very difficult to actually get fermentation to occur. So you only typically see ice wines are about 8% alcohol. They rarely get above that. So they're low alcohol, very, very sweet and full of this concentrated nectar of the grapes. And it is one of the most beautiful wines you can drink. And it's coming out now. So please enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy talking about it.
I'm enjoying it more after that description. It's made it that much more sweet.
And that's what we like to do.
Your passion has made it tastier.
Yeah, because wine is more than a beverage in a glass. There's history behind it. Whether it's 600 years of family, or someone that now makes it out of passion after he made all the money. So it's always nice to do something passionate after you made all your money. But this is the one wine that Canada has made. We didn't create ice wine. Ice wine was actually created more in Germany, which is also very cool. In Austria. But they have much smaller land available there. So these ice wines in Germany can be 4 times as much as the Canadian ice wine. So from a volume perspective, Canada makes some very, very good ice wines. It's sold in the small half bottle because you would never pour a glass of ice wine like you do red wine. Typically, you would a glass of wine, 150 ml. A glass of ice wine, 50 ml. That's all you need because it's very, very concentrated, very, very intense in flavors. So you really just need a little bit. And so please, I think you have it in front of you. And with this tart, lemon tart, one of my favorites, I think it will be a perfect match. So please.
I think I should add to this.
This is from white grapes.
Yes. It's a hybrid grape.
Yeah, it's a white grapes. But you can make ice wine from red grapes.
Oh yeah, Cabernet Franc.
But I don't like it.
In a Chablis, you will have a sugar level of maybe 2 grams per liter. In a red wine, you can have a sugar level of 1 gram per liter. In a Riesling from Sula, you have a lot of sugar, which is 15 grams per liter. In an ice wine, you have sugar level which is more than 250 grams a liter. Yeah. So if you have a sugar problem, you're not advised to have it, but tonight you can have it. But otherwise, you have to be careful. And if you have a sugar problem, you do not take too much of this, for sure.
So that's why you just drink a little bit.
But the beauty of this is the acid and the sugar, they're balanced so well that you don't feel the sugar. So you enjoy it nice and fresh.
And you start to get some very tropical aromas and flavors. You're getting lychee and mango and very ripe peaches when you're drinking sort of wine. But anyway, please enjoy the wine and thank you very much for joining us. We're very, very pleased that you joined us tonight.
Thank you.
In particular,